In my presentation, I will try to focus on participation in the elections. The problem is that it is low. So one of the problems of low election participation, and it is a problem. So it is important to involve citizens in this process. Low participation is difficult, and it is considered as a sign of low interest in public affairs by the public, or low quality of democracy. And if the election participation drops too much, then the legitimacy of the elections can be impaired. And in the long term, the legitimacy of democratic regime as such can be impaired, which is a big problem for a democracy. So what happens if legitimacy is impaired? We could have seen in the United States recently. The reason why the legitimacy was disrupted was another, of course, than in the Czech Republic. And according to the other authors, along hand in hand with low participation in the election, also the election representation is reduced, and some groups in the society are not represented. The case in the Czech Republic, where we have been seeing low participation for a long time, and an example is the Senate election, which is, on the other hand, the most frequently held election, and the low participation is observed, especially in the second round of the Senate election, where the average participation from 1996 to 2020 is about 22%. And also the first round of a Senate election has low participation, so 37% of voters on average. It's a long-term problem, but this table shows that in several past elections, well, after 2010, the participation has been reduced significantly in the second round, and it's under 20%. So what is the cause of this extremely low participation in the election? And so how this situation can be solved? And the issue is pressing because we all are aware of it. In spite of that, we haven't managed to explain it in a satisfactory way. So what are possible theoretical explanations? So this type of election is considered as a second rank, but this does not explain lower interest in the Senate election in comparison with regional government or municipal elections. And this theory is not able to explain the very low participation in the Senate election. And it is worth mentioning that the Senate election in the Czech environment are not typical because of a majority election system, but there is no satisfactory explanation why the majority election system would have such a significant impact. And the results have shown that most voters do not even know what is the system of Senate election. The institution of Senate is often called an institution misunderstood by the citizens. For instance, Professor Kysela says that the citizens do not understand the logics of the existence of Senate. And Wattenberg and Salinta have demonstrated that the effect of ignorance of elected institutions can impact the participation in the elections.
This theory states that assuming elections, more elections in a short time, citizens will participate in elections to those institutions that they know better because they know what institution they vote to. And it is necessary to recall the relatively high frequency of elections in the Czech Republic. The effect is similar to students deciding or answering questions in CO tests. If they do not know the answer, they skip it and they answer those questions they know something about. If there is a large number of citizens with a low knowledge of the elected institution in society, then it may be a variable that offers an explanation of turnout at an aggregate level. But in this case, we need to test the general knowledge of citizens about elections. In the research, not only knowledge of the Senate was measured, but also general political knowledge was measured, which have been confirmed several times in the past as a factor having a positive effect on individual voting. And we also studied the relationship between the two things. We need also to state that the Senate is often criticized by the public and some politicians. It seems that confidence in this institution is undermined. Research to date from other countries has shown that trust in an elected institution can have an impact on participation in the turnout of elections. If, based on this hypothesis, we come with a research hypothesis, the first is that the low turnout is assumed to be caused by low knowledge of citizens. Um, uh, and at the same time that the general knowledge about political knowledge is low, and there is a correlation between the two. Another hypothesis assume a positive effect of general political knowledge on turnout, and the last hypothesis assume a positive effect of trust in the Senate on voter turnout. The hypotheses were tested using a quantitative analysis of data collected through my original questionnaire survey, the main part of which were two sets of closed questions, one testing knowledge of the Senate, the other testing general political knowledge. The final score in each of the tests could be in the range from -2 to 6 points. The interviewees did also self assessment, which made it possible to compare the answers better. We also collected data on the trust using a Likert 4-point scale from definitely trust to definitely do not trust. And of course, the data on the voter turnover of individuals were also collected. This was measured as a long-term participation in the Senate election. The answers was regularly, occasionally, or I do not participate in the elections at all. The respondents also filled in classic control variables. First, pilot testing was used, then we sampled 2,100 people representing the population of the Czech Republic from 18 to 65 years. The upper limit, 65 years, was used because we used online collection of data, and we were afraid that older people would not be able to answer. And the effect of independent variable was measured using a regression model. What were the conclusions? We found that the two kinds of measured knowledge correlate significantly. but the knowledge of the facts about the Senate is lower than the level of general political knowledge, which was confirmed not only by the respondents, but also their self-assessment. So if their knowledge on Senate was low, then it was reflected in the overall results. The level of knowledge of the Senate is generally extremely low. We can say that it is alarming. Looking at some specific answers, only less than 40% of respondents knew how many members the Senate has. Less than 20 people of respondents knew how often the Senate elections were held in their districts, and less than 40% knew which electoral system is used. Only 7% of respondents knew how large budget the Senate has in relation to state budget. The questions were closed, and the differences in answers were enormous. About 10% of respondents said that state budget is about 10% of annual state budget, and it is 0.00 something. Only 10% of respondents managed to correctly determine the powers of Senate. Only less than 16% respondents were able to correctly determine that the Senate can be outvoted by the Chamber of Deputies only in the process of adopting ordinary legislation. Our conclusions, the regression model confirmed the expected positive influence of general political knowledge on turnover, the turnout, and with an increasing score of general political knowledge per unit increasing by 15%, the chance that the citizen will participate in the Senate elections. On the other hand, the effect of knowledge about the Senate institution on participation in the elections was not confirmed. The effect of trust in the Senate institution was confirmed. The regression model predicts that with greater confidence, by 1 degree, the chances of a citizen participating in a Senate will increase more than threefold. That is to say, somebody who trusts in Senate will have 9 times bigger chance of participating in the Senate election compared to others, or people who do not trust the Senate as an institution. We can say that in the future, it certainly is possible, or we should really further study what influences the citizens' trust, and to strengthen the trust and try to reverse the trend in low interest in the Senate, which is undoubtedly an unfortunate phenomenon. Attention should also be paid to the extremely low level of knowledge about the Senate as an institution, which is really worrying. It is still true that whether voters choose to go or not to go to the polls, their decision is made on a basis of a very limited or even incorrect knowledge of the upper house of the parliament. That is all I had to say, and I'm looking forward to your comments and questions.